Okay, hey, how's everybody doing? This video today I'm posting about a vision that I had, and this was yesterday, I think it was, and I hadn't really been sleeping well, like lately, like my spirit just been on edge. I can just feel something is wrong. I can feel something is happening. Things are about to happen. Things are about to unfold. And when I say things about to unfold, I mean the kind of things that people say. I read the book of Revelations, girl, and that stuff's so scary in there and da-da-da. Okay, when I say unfolding, that's what I mean. Like, literally, the book of Revelations coming to life. Even some of the toughest of people that I know that I've either read it with them or told them to read it, and it scared the crap out of them. So just knowing that these things are about to happen is scary within itself. So I'm going to take you with me through my vision. I don't have like this screen capture program and all that stuff. I'm actually doing this with my iPhone because it just couldn't wait. It was too important for me to take the time out and try to do all that to make a video. So I'm just going to give it to you, and I'm going to show you the images of what I saw to kind of help you get a picture of what I was seeing. The vision started off with something a little personal. I'm not going to go into that, but I ended up storming out of a family member's house, and as I get to the street, I realize I'm not in 2011. And the way you can tell the difference between a dream and a vision is, in a vision, I still have my own personality. I still have my own mind. I still think exactly how I think. In a dream, it may be something happening, and let's just say I've had a dream and somebody got into a fight, and in the dream, I just stood there and watched it. Well, that's not me. That's not me and my character and how I am. I would have tried to be a peacemaker or broke it up. So that's what I mean, the difference. When you have a vision, you still have your thought process. You still have your personality, and you act as if you would if it was reality. That's the difference between a dream and a vision. You're also not completely helpless. In dreams, a lot of times I'm completely helpless. In visions, I'm not. I'm not completely helpless. I can take action, and I can also hear instructions from God. I can hear Him telling me what He wants me to do. So there's the difference between a dream and a vision, which is a divine visitation, another thing that I call it. So as I run out the house, I see these cars, and this is when I realize, okay, I'm not dreaming. And this is my thought process as this is happening. Okay, I'm standing in the parking lot, and I'm just like, okay, this isn't a dream, this is a vision. I'm really here. And y'all, I really feel like I be in these places. I don't feel like this is just something I saw on TV, and I'm just having, like, afterthoughts of it, subconsciously remembering it. No, these usually are things I have never seen in my life. I don't even watch stuff like that. So I'm looking at all the cars, and this is what all the cars look like. Can you see this? Most of the cars look a lot like this. A lot of them were white, a weird color white though, almost like an opaque, almost white. Where it was, you know, ladies, the new fingernail polishes are coming out, those colors, where the cars were like that. They weren't regular matte colored cars. And so, again, this is what the cars look like in the dream. Most of them like this. There were still SUVs, cars, small cars, big cars, all of that, but this is what they look like. Okay, so as walking, I'm realizing something is wrong, and I hear God say you need to hop in the car. So I hop in the car. I have my little girl with me. For some reason, she looked a little smaller than she is today. And I hop in the car. As I'm driving, I'm seeing a lot of houses have been deserted. Just look like people just were taking right in the middle of whatever they were doing. Laundry baskets were on the ground. I saw groceries laying on the sidewalk by the homes. I saw mailboxes laying open with mail all over the ground. It's like people left in a hurry. So I get to the other end of the street, and as I get down there, I realize that there are a lot of police officers, and martial law is being enforced. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I need to either A, blend in, or hide somewhere. And hiding was not an option because police officers in some type of uniform I had never saw before. It was a new uniform, and it had the logos on the patches on the uniforms were like 2 or 3 different symbols integrated into one. That's the best way I can describe the way the patches look on the uniforms. So I climb inside. I see these mobile jails, 18-wheelers. If you could picture 18-wheeler and you take the back off of it, and there's nothing left on the back of the 18-wheeler except the flatbed. Okay, take a mobile jail and put it on top of the flatbed on the 18-wheeler. And of course, it was futuristic looking like this car, the trucks were. So on the back of these trucks were mobile prisons, mobile jails. This is what they look like, the closest I can explain. Okay, even though I know this is a ride, but right here, these were like, it was just like this, if you could picture it, but it had cell, the bars. It had bars in front of it. It was 2 or 3 rows exactly like this. There was a door on one end of it, so there was one way in and one way out. The cell bars were across the front of the seats. The only thing that was missing was this part, the safety part. That part was gone, but there were seats just like this, and they were this close together, and they were packed like sardines. So, and me and my daughter opened the gate, sneak in, sit down. I squeezed in between 2 girls, and I heard God say, hand your daughter to the young lady next to you. So I handed it to her. As soon as I did that, there were cameras everywhere. It was surveillance, the heaviest surveillance I ever seen. And I've been seeing really heavy surveillance here in Memphis a lot lately. They've been putting up a lot of new cameras. So I have been noticing that. But these cameras were unusual. These cameras actually levitated. They floated in the air, almost like those helicopters that came out this year that use some type of military technology to keep the helicopters from tail spinning. Okay, imagine putting a camera on top of that helicopter. That's what the cameras were like. And they go by and they scan each person's face. Once they scan specific markings on your face, that's how they know who you are. They had a database system, and it would compare certain features of your face to a database in dental records. And that's how they verified who was who. So there really was no need for ID anymore. So when it gets to me, I'm assuming they were looking for me and a small child. Since I gave the small child to the young lady next to me, I did not match what they were looking for. Because as I said, I was out on the street, and I'm assuming a camera picked it up and saw me and a small child together. But when the camera came past me, I didn't have a child with me anymore. So the camera, and it did stop and pause for a minute. After it scanned me, I matched it, but I didn't have a small child with me. So the camera went to the next person. Right before the camera got to me, the girl beside me said, "Smile." And and I'm like, "What do you mean, smile?" She was like, "Smile and just act like you talking to me." And so I did it. And so after the camera went by, the police officer was walking back and forth in front of this little mobile jail, which looked just like this. He was walking back and forth in front of us. So he follows the camera. If the camera gives us an alert that someone matches a particular database, if they get a match, then there's a police officer that comes to the camera and he pulls you out of the crowd or wherever you are. And what they do to you afterwards is so terrible, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. Because they had a list of terrorists, people that were some type of threat, stuff like that. So anyway, so as I'm talking to the girl, and she's like, "Where are you from?" She's like, "You must not be from this time." And she was laughing and joking about it, and I was thinking to myself, actually, I'm not. But so she was just like, well, she said, "If you were sitting here looking like something was wrong," she said, "that's all it takes for them to arrest you." I was like, "Aren't we already arrested?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "How long have you all been sitting here?" She said, "Girl, I've been here so long. I know everybody on this row and everybody on that row." And everybody just kind of waved. They was like, "Hey, newbie," And it was like they were just laughing and talking and chilling because they knew there was no freedom of speech. There was nothing they could do about it. There were no lawyers they could call. They couldn't call the police officers on the police officers. So it was basically nothing they could do. So they were just making the best out of it, sitting there talking about their family and what they were doing when they got arrested and pulled off the street, and this, that, and the other. And another odd thing about it, the bars were not made out of metal. It was some type of new, it wasn't metal. It was like, like when the auto box came out for the iPhones, was this supposed to be some type of new technology material? That's what the bars were kind of made out of that. And it was, I want to say, like fiberglass integrated with the strongest of plastic. Like they were using the least amount of metal possible in this vision. And I remember touching the bars, and the texture of it reminds me of what my phone feels like. But it was very much more, it was tougher, and it definitely could not be broken. So you were not going to break out of there. So after I finished talking, I found a few things, and I found there's a new dictator, and a lot of laws have been changed, and that's why this is happening. Martial law is in effect. You're not allowed to roam about anymore. If they catch you, they would lock you up in a mobile prison. The prisons were so full, that's why they created these mobile jail cells. And then they would finally take you somewhere. That place was unidentified. She had no clue where they were going to go after that. They had not been fed. None of that stuff was a priority. The police officers and soldiers almost act like they didn't have a mind of their own. It was almost like they were just zombified. I don't know if they were just doing their job and they were scared themselves. But if it was me, I would have been letting people out. You know what I'm saying? I would have been, but I guess that's why God describes the mark of the beast. And he talks about how it's going to be through fear and intimidation that people are going to be willing to be participants in some of the things that are about to happen. So I climb out of there, and I make it back to the car, get in the car, and I go down the street to this building. And I'm sneaking. It's just like, that music, doom, 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 like 007. Like I felt like that's, that music was playing in the background. So I hop out the car, I grab my daughter, we run in the building. I get in the building, and I see, what do you call when you work in a warehouse, and that thing that kind of slides and it goes from one person to the next, some type of belt. Okay, well, they had dismembered body parts on top of this belt. And there were people working in a line. But the organs, none of the organs were being, they would separate the organs, the bad from the good. The good organs were being used for something. I have no idea what the good organs were being used for. So I asked, it was all black women working in there, and they had like these odd CDC type suits on to protect them from, I guess, cross-contamination or something from the dead bodies. And I was like, where are all these dead bodies? She's like, oh, well, she said, we're out of coffins. The coffins are full. It's been so much disaster. There's really no other graves, nowhere to put people. We don't have any plots. If you don't have a plot pre-purchased, there was nowhere to put your body. So if you commit a crime, you can be executed for it. And once you're executed, we dismember the body parts. Then we send it over to that area, and that area liquefies the body parts. You either get liquefied or you get cremated. So I'm just watching this, and I'm just in disbelief, y'all. And they had like these big old pots, like these big stew pots. And once they got the body parts, they were just dunking them over in there. And some type of chemical they poured in it with it. And as they cooked it, it would liquefy the body down to basically nothing. And they would take the liquid, and they poured the liquid over into like this pipeline. And I don't know where it went from there. But that's what was happening. And after I talked to her, and she told me, people that violate the law, this is where they end up. There's no more sitting on death row for 10, 15 years. There wasn't any more going up for parole and getting an opportunity and a chance at freedom. Like, there were no second and third chances. When I woke up in a sweat. And it scared me really bad, because whenever I have a vision, I research some of the things I saw before I pass it on to the rest of the world, and I found this.